Hello, everyone. Welcome to Aptera Owners Club. Before we get started, there is a link to a Discord channel in the description if you want to join us there. I think we have like 140 people there, and there's some pretty good discussions going on if you want to join us and join our community. All right. Well, this video is about battery recycling, or more importantly, what to do with batteries, because batteries are going to be a big deal. As more EVs come into the picture, there's going to be a ton of used batteries, and they suspect that by the end of the decade, there'll be close to, around 200 million battery-powered vehicles on the road worldwide. That is a lot of batteries. So what we want to do is reduce, reuse, and recycle, as we've all been taught. And Aptera is basically helping with the reduce by making a more efficient vehicle. You can reduce the amount of batteries that you need. But eventually the batteries are going to lose capacity. And then what do you do with batteries after their useful capacity has dwindled? So there is a very cool company called B2U Storage Solutions that's based out of Lancaster now, and they've figured out a way to use EV batteries. And the way that they do it is a little bit different than we would think. There's another company called Redwood that's recycling batteries, and maybe we'll cover that in a future video. But in this one, I think the best thing to do with EV batteries is to use them. And this company uses them as energy storage. And the reason that's important is because if you look at this thing called the duck curve, as more people use solar, this happens a lot in California because solar penetration is very high in California, and there's just a lot of solar radiation in California. It's a very sunny state. So what happens is around 7, 8 a.m., the solar generation happens. So the need for electricity drops because there's more energy being generated than is needed. And then when the sun's going down at like 5, 6 p.m., that's when everyone's getting home. And then the energy usage ramps up at the exact same time when solar energy is going down. And other renewable energies like wind have similar problems, though wind is not predictable like this. Wind is unpredictable. So that's the problem with renewable energies, is that although renewable is good, like solar only happens when the sun is out, and wind only happens when the wind is blowing. So you have to figure out a way to store the energy to smooth out these variations in renewable energy. And so there's a lot of things like compressed air, pumped solar, lots of things. But with 200 EV batteries rolling around on the planet, and as they get retired, there is this potential solution is to use those batteries as energy storage. And you're like, well, if the batteries are bad, how can you use them for energy storage? Well, that's because even though the batteries have lost enough capacity that they're probably not useful in a car, and this company is using Nissan Leaf batteries, because Nissan Leaf was one of the first widespread EVs, and so a lot of their batteries are being retired now. And the original EVs, Nissan Leafs, had a range of about 70 some miles. And let's say that the batteries had degraded to the point that you only got like 30 or 40 miles of range. That's probably not a useful range for a battery EV. And so those need to be replaced at that point. But 30 to 40 miles of range is still a significant amount of energy storage. And if you can get these battery packs for cheap, then you could use these as battery storage. And what's great about them is we'll kind of look at this. This is their facility. They have a little solar generation on site, and these things right here have their battery packs in them. And they just leave the battery packs in the casing that it goes in the car. So they just pull them straight out of the car and hook them up. So that's their technology. Their technology is that you can just pull the battery packs. You don't have to disassemble them, and you can pull them straight out of the car and then hook them up. And then they have a battery management system that that basically balances the loads depending on state of health of the battery, and then they can use even, they can pair like a really bad battery with a really good battery, and it just evens out the load, and they can just use these straight, which makes them very easy. You just pull them straight out of the car and then put them in here. They say that their technology is can be used with any EV. So theoretically, when our Apteras are done, they can pull the Aptera battery and just plug it straight into here. And this would be the same with Tesla batteries, with like the Kona EV, or any of these EVs that are out there. So I think that as more and more companies get into this field, I think it's a great way of using these. And then eventually, even in this setting, they're going to degrade to the point that they're probably not useful even with um, landlocked storage. See, the reason that you can use them in these things is because they don't care about the weight and the space usage in here, because you're not carting them around. Whereas in a car, a battery that's only at 20% capacity is just dead weight. In here, they don't really care about that. But eventually, when the batteries go down to like 5% capacity, they're probably not even useful. They don't even hold any useful charge. At that point, they're going to need to be recycled. And that's when we're going to have to figure out technologies to extract the raw materials, like the aluminum and the cobalt and the nickel and the lithium, and out of these batteries, and then remanufacture new batteries using the recycled parts. And I think there are several companies. One of them is Redwood that's looking into that, and hopefully they'll get that sorted out. Because with 200 million batteries, we're going to have to figure out a way of dealing with this. We can't just be dumping all these things. So I was pretty excited when I saw this company, and they're already profitable. And so they have proven that the technology works, it's profitable, it does not need to be subsidized, and they are making money by using batteries that have been discarded um, out of um, EVs, and their technology can work with any of the others. So I suspect that many other companies are going to start doing this, especially as penetration of solar and wind ramps up. It's continuing to ramp up, and we're going to need more and more storage. And we're probably going to need more storage than these batteries can produce, which is why other technologies like compressed air and pumped solar, or sometimes flywheel technology, is going to be necessary. But anyways, I'm glad that this company is doing this. It makes me feel better about getting EVs, knowing that at the end of life, there is going to be a good reuse situation as well as a good recycle situation. If you guys have any comments, please comment below and join us on Discord. Thanks.